Introducing your 2011 AAA Blues. Defenseman. Number 2, Patrick Komodowski. Defenseman. Number 7, Hutch Rubis. Forward. Number 9, Tyson Boyer. Defenseman. Number 10, John Peterson. Defenseman. Number 11, Malachi Smith. Defenseman. Number 12, Linus Brooks. Forward. Number 13, Brandon Bauer. Forward. Number 16, Braden Harris. Forward. Number 17, Jackson Giorgio. Defenseman. Number 19, Emerson Minimin. Forward. Number 21, Mason Blanchard. Forward. Number 27, Grant Fugner. Forward. Number 29, Ian Bowers. Goalie. Number 30, Max Stutzer. Goalie. Number 31, Luke Scanapieko. Forward. Number 66, Braden Schneider. Forward. Number 85, Gordon Crowley. Forward. Number 88, Luke Wessel. Forward. Number 91, Jonathan Zilm. Forward. Number 93, Ben Spatansky.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, agreed. And we play here a ton. I think they're 25th or 26th. Yeah, I think Ben said they're a combination of two Indiana teams from last year. Right, yeah. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. They Shield beat them last night 5-3. Car Shield. Right. Sorry about that. I guess the ball wasn't on. Bowers has the puck at center ice, taken away by Indy. Back into the blue zone. Miniman goes behind the net, reverses for his key partner. Up the wing for Bauer. Over to Miniman, who carries into the offensive zone. Puck goes behind the net, chased after by Schneider. Now Bauer tries to cut it off, and it skips by Kamadowski at the point into the blue zone. Bowers goes to get it. And carried back into the zone by Indy Elite. Chipped out by Bowers. Indy goes back into the blue zone, cut off by Miniman, who tries to stick check his guy who wraps around the net. Puck's thrown in front. Kamadowski clears the front of the net. Tie up behind the net. And that shot is blocked by Brandon Bauer, by Ben Stefanski, who came on for Bauer. Puck's taken away from him. Shot on net. Stutzer makes a save. Malachi clears the rebound. Starts to carry up the ice. He goes up the wing to Zilm. Tips it into the zone. Indy's guy blows a tire. Brought in by Zilm. Taken away by 57 of Indy Elite. Malachi Smith with a stick check as he crosses the blue line. Separates him from the puck and picked up by Brooks. Goes back to Malachi, who comes straight up the middle looking for Ben. Puck's tipped into the zone by Indy, so no icing. Zone with the forecheck. Held in by Brooks at the blue line. And here comes Tyson Boyer on the forecheck. They go up the ice and miss everybody. Puck is held in the blue zone by Indy. Malachi Smith in the tie-up over on the wall. Carries it away, looking for a pass to get out. Up to Wessel, who goes up the boards. He's got Grant Fugner, who has Boyer driving the net. Boyer with a good hit along the boards. Malachi Smith dumps it in. Blues cleared the zone, and Indy's got it behind their net. Luke Wessel, a good forecheck, stick on the puck. Grant knocks it down, has it in the corner. Tries to go to the point, but splits the defenseman, and it goes all the way back to Stutzer, who sets it up for Rubis. Quickly up the boards to Wessel. Tries to go back to Fugner, and it's picked off. And then the Elite comes back the other way. Dumps into the zone. Peterson goes behind the net to grab it. Comes up the wing to Boyer. Boyer back to Peterson. He goes back around the net to Rubis. Up the ice to Wessel. And that's going to be icing on the Blues. Crowley to take the face off. Crowley wins the face off behind the Blues net. Rubis goes to get it. Comes up the boards to Harris, who's taken on two Indy Elite players. Crowley in to help him out. Peterson goes over the corner to grab the puck. Still tied up over there in the corner. And he carries it into the slot. It's taken away by Hutch, who gives it to Harris on the wing. He carries into the offensive zone, back to Rubis. Comes to the slot for a shot off the crossbar. Hutch separates the Elite, and he's going to get an interference penalty. See if we're playing minute and a half or 2 minute penalties today, but Hutch goes to the box for interference. Blues will send out Spatansky and Wessel at forward, and Miniman and Kamadowski at defense on the penalty kill. Minute and a half penalties today. Indy wins the face off out to the point, down to the half boards and around the net. Up to the point. Point to point, good block shot, good stick by Luke Wessel there. Puck's behind the Blues net, out to the wing, back out to the point, down to the half boards again, Emerson with some pressure there. Top of the umbrella. Goes to the wing. Good stick by Wessel to break it up. Puck goes loose into the corner and back around the net. Emerson gives chase and ties up his guy. His guy gets away. Puts it out front. Good save there by Max Stutzer. Puck's loose behind the net. Indy picks it up. Luke grabs it and tries to throw it to Spatansky. It does not get out of the zone, but a great skate by Luke to break up a pass. He takes the puck, and it's knocked off his stick, and Indy comes back up the ice. Miniman cuts him off. Malachi Smith is on for Komodowski now, and shots blocked by Emerson. Wessel with a hit on Indy Elite, and it's thrown up and over the boards by Malachi Smith. We'll have a face-off to Stutzer's right. Blues send out Bauer, Schneider, Brooks, and Smith with 21 seconds left in the penalty to Hutch Rubens. High up draw goes into the corner. Shot around the boards by Brooks. Up to Bauer. He gives it back to Malachi Smith, who shoots it out of the zone. The puck could have been played by the Indy defenseman, but he pulled his stick back, and the refs still call icing. So face off to Stutzer's left now. Same personnel on the ice for the Blues. Face off one again by the Blues. Shot around by Malachi. Doesn't get out of the zone. Indy keeps it in. They reverse again up the boards. Touches out of the box, and that's an offside by Indy. Face off to come out to the neutral zone. Blues are back to full strength. Schneider, Bauer, Bowers, Smith, and Brooks on the ice. Face off goes forward. Bauer with a good pressure on the puck carrier. Good stick by Ian Bowers. And it's shot deep by Brooks. Goalie cuts it off behind the net. Held in at the point by Brooks, who throws a shot to the net. It gets knocked down, blocked. Another shot by Brooks is blocked. And Indy gets it out to center ice. Malachi throws it up the boards, trying to hit Ian Bowers, doesn't make it to him. The puck goes back into the blue zone. Brooks got the puck, tries to go up the wing to Bauer. He fights off a couple of checks. Indy grabs the puck and comes into the zone. Good play there by Malachi Smith. Schneider goes up to Bauer, and it's offsides on the Blues. Puck will come out to the neutral zone. Blues have Giorgio, Zilm, Spatansky, Peterson, and Rubis on the ice. Face off one by Giorgio, dumped into the zone by Peterson, goes around the net. Forecheck by Zilm, Spatansky also on the puck in the corner. And Indy breaks out into the blue zone. Hutch blocks the centering pass, and the puck goes into the corner. He fires it around the boards to Zilm, cut off by Indy and sent back behind the net. Hutch up the boards to Spatansky, who tries to chip it up the ice. He gets it out of the zone, but has to circle back. Gives it to Peterson, who gets tied up by an Indy Elite player. Peterson and Spatansky battle along the boards. It comes out to the point, thrown towards the net by their defenseman, wide of the net. Hutch separates Indy Elite from the puck. Picked up by Giorgio, up to Peterson. He carries, tries to throw it out of the zone, and it's blocked by Indy Elite player. Zilm breaks up the pass and backhands it into the zone. Forecheck by Spatansky. Indy reverses the other way, cut off by Zilm. Out to Kamadoski at the point, who makes a couple of moves, takes a shot, and it goes out of play. So face off to the right of the India Elite goalie. The Fugner, Boyer, Wessel line with Miniman and Kamadoski on the ice. Tied up, draw comes into the corner here. Indy circles behind their own net, breaks out to the winger, held in at the point by Miniman, who throws it behind the net. Indy picks it up again, throws it out to the point, skips over Miniman's stick, and he tosses it back into the zone. It'll be offsides, face off at center ice. The Elite wins the face-off back to their defenseman, who throws it into the zone on net. Stutzer directs it into the corner. And the Elite spins and throws a shot wider than that. Miniman tries to break up the middle of the ice to Fugner. It's picked off by Indy, who throws it towards the net. Saved by Stutzer. Puck comes up the ice to Boyer. He's into the zone. Throws the puck at the net. Fugner takes the rebound. Tries to get it to Wessel. Knocked over his stick out to the point. Miniman throws a puck wide of the net. Kamadoski holds in and gets blown up. He's struggling. Big hit right there. Kamadoski finished trying to hold the puck in. Didn't see the India Elite guy coming. Took it right in the center of the chest. He's to the bench now. Blues have Crowley, Blanchard, Harris with Brooks and Smith on defense. Tied up. Puck makes its way back to Malachi Smith. He gains the red line and tries to dump it deep. Hits an India Elite player. Puck flutters onto the net. Caught and held by the goalie. 5:09 left in first period. Face off to the left of Indy's goalie. Won by Indy. Into the corner. He tries to go around the net. Stopped by Planter. Harris has the puck in the corner. He gets tied up. Indy tries to clear. Held in by Smith. Shot on net by Crowley. Is saved by the goalie, who covers the rebound. Face off now to the right of Indy Elite's goalie. Draw gets tied up. Indy Elite takes it behind their own net. Reverses. They break it up the wing. Up the middle of the ice. Picked off by Brooks. Into the corner. Crowley hits the guy. Tied up in the corner with Brooks and two Indy Elite players. Puck pops out to the winger, who tries to kick it back to the behind the goal. Same four players still battling for the puck. Pops out. Now the puck floats out to the point. Good block there by Blanchard. Brooks tied up with an Indy Elite player. Another battle along the boards. Crowley's pinned his guy. Puck pops out to the other side. Malachi flips it up out of his zone, looking for Planter. It hopped over his stick, comes to the new boards. Thrown into the zone, picked up by Brooks with Malachi Smith. He gets to the red line and dumps it deep. Schneider in on the forecheck. He bumps the guy. Malachi holds the puck in the zone, backhands it into the corner. Schneider's on it. Indy just clears the zone there. Blues get it back. But it's brought right back out by Indy Elite. Good back check there by Brandon Bauer. Johnny Peets clears the zone and takes a hit. Puck is dumped into the Indy zone by their own player. Shot around the net to the far wing and tipped to center ice. Good job by Schneider to separate his guy from the puck. Hutch Rubis will carry up the ice. Tries to dump it deep and hits the defenseman. Indy's got the puck. They break out the far wing. Dump deep, and they'll go for a change. Hutch tips the puck to Peterson behind the net. He goes up the wing to Brandon Bauer. He goes up center ice to Ian Bauer. Schneider gets to the red line. His backhand dump is blocked by Indy, who carries into the blue zone. Good back check by Hutch. That shot goes wide. Spatansky onto the ice. Puck's behind the net. Ian Bowers just checks somebody in front of the net with no puck. Looks like he's going to take an interference penalty here. Puck's touched by the Blues, and here's the penalty. It is an interference, but it's on Braden Schneider. So the Blues will go on the penalty kill again. 2:17 left in the first period. Nope, it is on Ian Bowers. Correction there. Blues have Spatansky and Wessel at forward, along with looks like Miniman and Tomadowski back out there on deep. Spatansky wins the face off to Miniman, who reverses to Tomadowski. Shifts up, but it gets held in at the point. They go to the half boards. Como clears, tries to go up the middle of the ice. Good play by the Indy defenseman to keep it in the zone with his skate. Two Blues on the puck, Wessel and Miniman. Another Indy guy comes over and takes it. He goes up the half boards. Wessel with a good stick to knock it away. He carries it up the ice into the Indy zone. Short-handed chance there, but now Indy breaks out. Directed into the blue zone and taken over by Tomadowski. He goes behind the net, reverses the Miniman, who's got some time behind his own net. He goes up the boards to Spatansky, back to Miniman. Goes back to Tomadowski behind the net. He tries to backhand up the boards, gets held in at the point. They go D to D. Cross ice pass and a great save by Max Stutzer. Guy had a clear shot from the dot. Max saves, makes the save, holds on, face off to his right. New PK unit for the Blues is Giorgio and Zilm with Brooks and Malachi Smith. Draws a tie up out to the point. They go D to D. Shot on. Looked like it might have been tipped. Stutzer makes the save. Indy's got the puck out at the point. They're going to call a penalty on Malachi Smith as the Indy guy was skating backwards and just skated into Malachi. It's a pretty light one there, but they'll call a trip on Malachi Smith. Blues will be shorthanded 5-on-3 for another 9 seconds, and then Bowers will come out of the box. Blues have Rubis, Giorgio, and Brooks on the ice for this 5-on-3. Face off to the right of Stutzer. Giorgio ties it up, and it pops out to the point. They go D to D. Shot. Saved by Stutzer. Taken by Giorgio. He's got Bowers out of the box on a breakaway. Comes in. Backhand. Saved by the goalie. We've got a penalty on Indy Elite. It's a slash from behind. Looks like they are not going to award a penalty shot. It's just going to be a minor penalty on Indy Elite, so we'll now play 4-on-4 for 1:14. Blues send out Giorgio, Spatansky, Rubis, and Peterson for the 4-on-4 in the offensive zone. 39.5 seconds left in the first period. Won by Giorgio, the point to Peterson, over to Rubis. He makes a move. He's got Giorgio in front of the net, circles back around. Over to Peterson at the point, back up to Hutch at the top. Over to Peterson. Down to Giorgio in the corner. He gets separated from the puck. Spatansky comes over and takes it. Chipped around by Giorgio. He goes behind the net. Out to Rubis. Back to Giorgio. Out to Peterson at the top. He makes a move. Good low shot comes off the pad right in front. And that's the end of the period. Scoreless after one. All right, we're back for the second period. Play 4-on-4 for another 34 seconds, and then the Blues will have a short 17-second power play. Blues have Fugner and Harris with Kamadowski and Miniman. Puck won by Indy. They try to backhand it up, blocked by Miniman. Indy regroups and tries to break out of the zone. And I'm not sure how that wasn't an offside. The guy fell into the zone before the puck, but Harris carries into the Indy zone up the wing, beats his guy, cuts to the net, around the net, the Miniman, who shoots. I think that went off the crossbar again. Second crossbar for the Blues. Harrison with the puck down in the corner comes up to Kamadowski. He makes a move around the guy, goes to Miniman, over to Harris, who keeps it in the puck with his skate, keeps it in the zone with his skate, over to Miniman. Smith's out of the box. Harris over to Kamadowski. He tries to make a move, puck gets knocked off his stick and out of the zone. Miniman will come get the puck, regroup. He off the boards to Harris, who carries into the zone up the wing, tries to center Blanchard. It gets knocked behind the net. Blanchard digs it out, comes up to the point, goes through Kamadowski's skates, and they have to regroup over to Miniman. He goes back to Kamadowski. They'll go north. And the Elite separates him from the puck, and he'll just backhand it towards the blue line. Good job by Fugner to keep it in. He carries, saved by Indy Elite's goalie, and the rebound's cleared up the wing. Malachi Smith with a good step up there. Harris tries to go over to Brooks. Circles back. Now he gets it over to Brooks, who tips it into the Indy zone. Chased after by Crowley. Good pull up. He goes to the point. Brooks will throw it into the corner. Picked up by Boyer. He curls. Protects the puck. He is helped out by Crowley. Crowley forechecks behind the net. And Indy breaks out up the center of the ice. Comes up the left wing into the blue zone. Malachi Smith separation from the puck. And Wessel has the puck in the corner, and he'll go around to Brooks. Brooks back around to Wessel. He tries to go up to Malachi Smith, and it's blocked by an Indy player. Shot off the outside of the post by Indy Elite. Blues are having a tough time getting it out of the zone here. Brooks will chip it up and out. Good job by Luke. Wessel blocked the pass, and it's dumped deep into the Indy zone. Blues will get a change onto the ice. It's Schneider, Bauer, and Bowers. Brandon Bauer throws it to the front of the net, and it's blocked by an Indy defenseman. Chipped up the boards, held it. Nope, it goes over the glass, and we should have a face-off inside the Indy zone. So Schneider, Bauer, Bowers, Rubis, and Peterson on the ice. Face-off won by the Blues, but picked off by the Indy winger, who carries up the left wing. Good stick by Rubis to knock it to the board. He takes over and lifts it. Good job by Bauer. He finds Ian Bowers, but Schneider had gone in ahead of the pass, and it's offside on the Blues. Blues will change forwards here. They'll send back Georgia, Spatansky, and Zome. Peterson and Rubis still on defense. Tied up. Zome goes to Rubis, who throws it into the zone. Spatansky and Zome onto the forward check. Giorgio will take over. He blocks an outlet pass. Indy chips it out of the zone, though. Peterson wins the race to the puck. He'll carry. Finds Spatansky up the wing, who's got a break. He shoots, and a glove save by the Indy Elite goalie. Good outlet pass there by Peterson. And Blues send out Miniman and Kamadowski on defense now. Face off to the right of the Indy goalie. High up draw again. Comes out to the point. Kamadowski throws to Miniman, who dumps it wide of the net. Chased after by Spatansky. And Indy comes up the boards. They go cross ice and can't connect on the pass. Kamadowski picks it up, carries out of the zone. He goes to Zilm, who tips to Giorgio. Good job there by Zilm to hold the puck in at the blue line. Giorgio to Zilm. Spatansky chasing after the puck. He goes up to Como. Kamadowski over to Miniman, who throws it behind the net. Chased after by Zilm. He ties up his guy. Giorgio out to Miniman at the point over to Kamadowski, who goes cross ice, shot by Giorgio, is saved by the goalie, and the net comes off. Good puck movement there. And the Blues will have a full sail change. Hugner, Boyer, and Wessel with Brooks and Smith. I'm not sure what the weight is here. They just ran 12 seconds off the clock for some reason. Tied up at the draw. Wessel's got the puck in the corner. He throws it behind the net. Boyer will chase after it on the far boards. And Indy Elite flicks it out. Brooks throws it back towards the zone, held up at the blue line, and the Blues are in offsides. Face off, tied up. Wessel will pick it up and go into the Indy zone. He's got the puck along the boards, draws two guys out to Malachi Smith, who throws a puck that gets blocked wide of the net. Up to the point, Brooks throws it deep behind the net. Blues have a four-checker there. It's Hubner. Boyer, and Wessel in the corner. Comes out to Brooks. He'll throw a shot at the net. It's tipped down and saved by the goalie as Hubner, I think, gets pushed into the net. Maybe that was Boyer. Blues will change lines again. They'll send out Crowley, Harris, and we're going to keep Hubner out there with Harris and Planter. Blanchard did a good job to get that puck back to the D. Squirts into the corner. Hugner's in forecheck. Harris takes the puck behind the net. He protects it. Comes out to the point to Brooks. He makes a move around an Indy forward. Puts a shot towards the net. It gets blocked. And Indy circles behind their own net. Good sustained pressure. Good back check there by Hugner to lift the stick. Malachi breaks off the pass. Tries to carry it into the zone. Gets back checked. He gets the puck again and throws it into the zone. Puck comes out, and he's got a half partial break, and they shoot it well high of the net. Malachi's got the puck. He takes a hit there, and it's just swung up the ice by Brooks. No icing, and good lay off there as the Indy Elite guy could have played it easily. Puck's over in the far corner, taken over by a Blues player. I think that's Brandon Bauer. Hutch with a good stick lift there. We're switching the lines around. I don't know if there's something wrong with the center or not. Puck squirts out. We've got Spatinsky with the puck. He goes to Giorgio up to Brandon Bauer, who puts it in the zone. Chases after it. Taken over by Giorgio. Yeah, it's a goal. Jackson to Giorgio with a great pass to Spatinsky. Spatinsky with the goal from Giorgio and Brandon Bauer, I believe. Indy has a guy down in the corner. I did not see what happened, but we're waiting for him to skate to the bench now. Looks like the goal will count. Referees were having a conversation there, but they are waiting to Indy why the goal will count. So it's 1-0 Blues. Here we go. Giorgio wins the draw, and it's shot in by Peterson. He carries up the wing, cuts to the front of the net, and has it knocked off his stick. Indy tries to go cross ice and pops over Giorgio. He'll carry, go behind his own net over to Rubis. Rubis circles back behind and breaks up the center of the ice. He finds Giorgio. Giorgio tries to go to Bauer. It goes off the skate back to Rubis. Rubis comes back behind his net, tries to reverse, and it's blocked by Indy. Picked up by Giorgio, and he'll clear the zone. He's got wingers going up the ice, carried in by Rubis, back to Giorgio, into the corner for Rubis, thrown in front and saved by the goalie, kept in by Peterson. Bauer has it in the corner, thrown on net and covered by the Indy goalie. Have a face off to his right. Blues will get a full change in. It's Crowley, Zilm, and Boyer with Komendowski and Miniman. Indy wins the draw, goes back behind their own net, comes up the wing. Miniman with a step up, but it's pushed out of the zone in for a 2-on-1. They go through the center, and it's just out of reach of the winger. Good block there by Boyer. He'll carry the puck up out of the zone. Stuffed in the neutral zone, and it's tipped in by Indy. Down into the corner. Komendowski pushes his guy wide. Miniman keeps him out wide, and the puck comes out of the zone. Boyer with a good back check, and that was probably an offside, but it goes uncalled. Komendowski over the Miniman, goes up the middle to Crowley, and he'll carry up the ice. Gets into the zone, dumps it behind the net. Puck got blocked and comes out to the neutral zone. Komendowski up the center of the ice to Crowley, who goes to Boyer on the left wing. Gets pushed wide, comes back up to the point to Komendowski. He keeps it in at the point. Back to Boyer. Boyer tries to go behind the net. Gets blocked. High up in the corner. And Indy is going to try to clear it out. Boyer throws it behind the net. Zilm's got it in the far corner. He goes back behind the net. Boyer for a change. Harris on the ice. He'll take over the forecheck behind the net. Wessel also onto the ice. Indy tries to chip it out of the zone. Miniman recovers and gets it out. Goes to Komendowski, who goes up the ice to Fugner. Fugner to Wessel. He'll chase it into the corner. Fugner and Wessel battle in the corner with a couple of Indy players. Wessel comes away with the puck. He carries it into the corner, goes to the point with Smith, tipped on goal by Fugner and caught by the Indy goalie. Face off won by Fugner. Shot on net. Trickles behind the goalie, who's Snow Angels to fall on the puck, and we'll have another face off to his left. Good shot by Malachi Smith that got through the traffic. Scramble draw goes behind the net. Harris has got the puck. He's tied up with a player. Wessel over to help him. Fugner takes it over in the corner. He tries to come out to Brooks, and it gets picked off. Indy clears the zone. Picked up by Brooks, who will fire it back in. Indy now trying to come up the right wing. Good job there by Malachi Smith to break it up. They've got a 2-on-1, a good sausage pass. Stutzer with a huge save, and he'll cover the puck. Great save there by Stutzer. We'll have offsetting minors, one of each after that little kerfuffle there in front of the net. Junior to the box for the Blues. Continue at 5-on-5. The Blues send out Giorgio, Spatansky, and Blanchard with Rubis and Peterson. Scramble draw taken by their center. Shot on net. Stutzer takes it in the crest and holds on for another face-off. Won by Giorgio to Rubis. He goes up the wing to Blanchard. Blanchard up the ice to Stefanski. He gets into the zone for 2-on-1. He tries to cut to the net. Gets taken out. Still loose behind the net. Blanchard tries to get it, and he's interfered with. And Indy's going to get a slashing penalty. The Blues will go on the power play. Not sure if that was on the break on Spatansky or if that was what's caused Blanchard to fall down. Either way, the Blues will go on a minute and a half power play here. They will keep Giorgio, Spatansky, and Blanchard on the ice with Peterson and Rubis. Face off won by Indy into the corner, spun around the boards but held in by Peterson. He chips around a guy. Puck's picked up by Blanchard over to Hutch. Hutch comes to Giorgio to the center of the ice. To Spatansky goes back to Rubis over to Giorgio. Back up to Hutch. Over to Peterson. He'll try to spin. Gets hit. Gets knocked down. Blanchard, Spatansky, and Peterson. Blanchard comes out with the puck. Throws it towards the net. It's knocked down. Hutch throws a shot towards the net. Blanchard goes to Peterson. Blues having a hard time getting set up here. And the puck goes out of play. See where the faceoff goes. Looks like it's going to stay inside the zone. Blues will send out Harris, Wessel, and Bauer with Tomodaski and Miniman. 52 seconds left on the power play. Wessel ties up the draw, comes out to Miniman. He keeps it in, goes to Tomodaski. Down the boards to Bauer, back up to Como. Comes to Miniman at the top. He throws it towards the net. Deflected wide by an Indy player. Bauer chases after it, goes to the corner, up to Miniman. At the point, over to Harris, who goes back up to Miniman, and it skips by him and out of the zone. He'll circle around, gain the red line, gain the blue line. Puck stuck at the boards in the snow, goes over to Tomodaski at the far point. Comes to Miniman, he's wide open, finds Harris down in the wing, tries to go to the center ice, comes out to Como, up to Miniman. At the top, comes to Harris. He'll shoot, and it goes off the goalie and over the net. We will have another face-off inside the zone. 1 second left on the power play. No change in personnel. Puck won by Harris there. Kept in by Tomodaski. He fires it into the far corner. Wessel goes up to Miniman. He tries to keep it in, and it's chipped around him. Stutzer will fire it around his own net. Brandon Bauer chips it up the board. Kept in by Indy. They carry into the slot. Saved by Stutzer. Shot from the slot. And a good stick there by Harris to deflect the shot wide. We'll have a face-off to Stutzer's left. Blues have Schneider, Blanchard, and Bowers with Smith and Brooks on the ice. Puck goes into the corner. Brooks and Schneider will battle for it. Tipped up by Brooks to Bowers. He goes off the boards looking for Blanchard. Blanchard catches up to it, grabs it back up to Bowers. He goes cross ice point to Malachi over to Brooks, who throws a shot on net, caught and held by the Indy goaltender. Schneider in to take the draw. He ties it up, pops out to Brooks, and Indy pressures him and it gets out of the zone. They come in. Player goes down. Schneider's got the puck behind his own net, goes up to Blanchard, who finds Bowers. He carries into the zone, tries to go to Brooks, but it's behind him. Malachi Smith will pick up the loose puck, spin ice, goes to Blanchard. Blanchard to Schneider, who carries into the zone. He'll throw a puck, far pad, goes into the boards. Bowers got the puck, knocked away from him, and Indy breaks out. They come up the center of the ice. Puck gets stuck in the snow along the benches again. Saved by Stutcher on a puck that might have been going wide. Out to the point. Goes off the heel of the stick wide. Schneider's outlet pass. Saved by Stutcher there. And he'll hold on for a face off to his left. Blues send out Crowley, Boyer, and Wessel, with Peterson and Rubis here for the defensive zone face-off. Scramble draw. Boyer gets the puck, rims it around behind his own net. Puck picks up to Wessel, who goes back to Rubis. Rubis is tied up in the corner. He's got Crowley helping him. Crowley takes a hit. Indy with a backhand. Great save by Stutzer. They throw it back across the crease, and it's tipped in. 1-1. Blues send out Giorgio, Spatansky, and Bauer. Peterson and Rubis stay on the ice. Draw is tied up. Peterson gets taken down. Giorgio goes to Rubis. Rubis circles behind his net, cuts back. He'll go up the center of the ice, finds Spatansky on the left wing. He'll throw the puck into the zone with Giorgio. Giorgio chases after it into the corner. Spatansky's with him. It's chipped past them. Good job there by Brandon Bauer to hold his own. Giorgio carries to the corner. He tries to go to the middle as Spatansky gets broken up. Giorgio picks it up behind the net now. Comes up top to Rubis. Good block there by Indy. Peterson throws it to the wing. Back out to Rubis at the point. He'll throw it towards the net. It gets blocked. Held in by Rubis. Thrown into the corner. Spatansky will chase after it. Giorgio will pick up the puck and cut to the net. Goes behind the net. He circles with Peterson. Drops it off. Peterson gets knocked down. Puck still in the corner. He's helped by Brandon Bauer. They're tied up. Peterson tries to come away with the puck. Now Indy gets it, and they just throw it down the ice. It's kept in there by Giorgio. Shot blocked. Big hit there by Bauer. Puck thrown to the middle again. Indy comes in on a partial break. Good save by Stutzer. Backhanded shot by Indy's player. Stutzer got in the way of it. Puck's tied up here in the corner. Out to the point. Saved by Stutzer on the shot from the defense. We're in scramble mode right now, just trying to get the puck out of the zone. It's stuck in the slot. Bauer clears it out. Hutch Rubis had lost his stick. Indy carries back in again. Shots blockered wide by Stutzer. Indy goes back behind our net. Peterson will fire it around the boards. Held in by the defense. Comes to Hugner, who throws it to the middle. Nobody there. Rubis has the puck. He'll throw it up the ice and all the way down, and that'll go for an icing. .2 seconds left in the second period. Hugner, Harris, Blanchard, Amadowski, and Miniman on the ice. Hugner wins the draw into the corner. Amadowski throws it around the net to Harris. Harris swings it up the boards. Good weight on that pass. Hugner's going to run it down. No icing. And that'll do it for the period. So tied at 1 after 2. All right, we'll start the third period. Tied at 1. Blues will have Georgios, Patansky, Bauer, Miniman, and Amadowski on the ice. Won by Georgio. Amadowski gets the red line, carries into his own, and dumps it deep. Comes around the net, stopped by the Indy goalie. They go off the far boards. Tomo pinches, holds it in there to Giorgio, over to Spatansky, out to Miniman. Miniman will throw it towards the net, and it's caught by the Indy goalie. Have a face off to his left. Draw is tied up. Bauer chases it in, comes out to Giorgio. Giorgio to the point to Miniman. He goes over to Komodowski, who throws it towards the net, steered wide by the goalie. They try to carry out. Giorgio with some back pressure. He'll put a hit on somebody, and it sneaks by Miniman. Komodowski recovers in his own zone, goes behind his own net, carries up the ice. He'll find Bauer. taken away from him, away from Miniman. Indy comes in 2-on-1. Puck rolls off of their stick, thrown towards the net and blocked. I think that's Giorgio, fires it up. Held in at the blue line. Good job. There's Jackson. He's got the puck, breaks into the Indy zone, blows an edge. Indy comes out. Hit there from Malachi Smith. He chips it out of the zone past the defenseman. Indy regroups, goes D to D, up the center of the ice. Malachi over to Brooks. Brooks will find who's in. Shot, save, loose puck. Goalie dives on it. Zone with a good chance right there. Blues have Crowley, Zone, Boyer, Smith, and Brooks on the ice. Another tied up draw goes out to the point. Malachi throws it towards the net. It's blocked. Brooks with a good step up to keep it in. Goes to Zone. Zone throws it on net. Goalie steers it to the corner. Blues with good pressure here so far. Boyer with a check behind the net. Crowley will get his guy, tie him up. He and Zone battle for the puck on the far boards. Pops out. Boyer with a hit. Indy breaks out of the zone. They break up the left wing. Saved by Stutzer. Goes into the corner. Malachi Smith puts the guy there. Good break up there by Crowley. He goes up the wing to Boyer. Boyer chips it around into the zone. Goes back to get it. Throws it towards the net. Off the goalie's blocker and onto his forward stick, who breaks out the ice. He loses it. Shot back down by Stugner. And the D recovers for Indy. Tied up by Rubis along the boards. Down into the corner. Wessel has the puck. He goes, it takes a weird hop, hops right out in front. Caught by Rubis. He's breaking out of the zone. He's got Harris on the right wing. Harris pulls up, shot, saved by the goalie. They break up the far boards again. Peterson keeps it. They can't fire it deep in the zone, though. Good block there by Rubis to prevent them from going deep. And he'll chip it up the boards. Wessel finds Stugner, pops off his stick. And the Blues get it deep, dumped in by Peterson. Their goalie wraps it around the boards up the far wing. Carries up the ice around Blanchard. Spatansky puts a hit on, separates from the puck, goes down into the corner. Peterson around the net for Miniman. He goes up the center of the ice, picked off. Giorgio coming back down. He's got his guy beat. Tries to cut inside the second guy and can't quite make it. Puck's held in by Blanchard. He's got it. Goes to Miniman. Throws it into the corner to Blanchard. Tries to cut back and gets separated. Spatansky with a good stick there to back check. And Indy dumps it deep into the zone. Hamanowski around to get the puck. He's got Miniman on the far side. Spins it around to him. Goes up the wing to Spatansky, who gives it to Giorgio. Giorgio into Blanchard. Blues are in the zone. On the far board, Blanchard pressuring the puck. When it comes in, Boyer with a good forecheck. Oh, Blanchard's going to get a tripping penalty. Trying to get stick on puck and ended up taking out the skates. So, minute and a half penalty to Blanchard for tripping. Blues will go on the penalty kill. Wessel and Spatansky with Smith and Brooks. Face off one by Indy. They find the winger on the far post. Good save by Stutzer. They go back out to the point. Good job there by Brooks to break it up. Wessel pressuring the point. Shot through. Saved by Stutzer again. Puck hops over Indy's D. Comes into their own zone and they'll regroup. Indy throws a pass. It bounces off their own shin pad deep into their zone again. Good pressure there by Wessel, and Indy can't get set up on the power play. Malachi Smith tries to chip around. It doesn't get around him. Indy carries behind the net. Pass back behind the net. They try to come out front. That pass is picked off by Spatansky. He'll throw it up the boards, hits some snow, and slows up so there's no icing. Giorgio and Zilm will hop out on the ice to finish this penalty kill. 32 seconds left. They go to the far point. Saved by Stutzer. Rebound comes out. Back to the point. Back down to the half boards. He'll circle around. Tries to throw it behind the net. Malachi Smith broke it up. He gets around and saved by Stutzer. He's tight to his post. Puck comes out to Zilm, and he'll throw it all the way down the ice for an icing. 7 seconds left in the penalty. Giorgio wins the face-off back behind the net. Rubis puts on the brakes. He's got Blanchard coming out of the box, and it's offsides on Indian. Blues have Fugner, Harris, and Bauer with Rubis and Peterson. Puck tipped into the zone. Peterson will chase after it into the corner. Backhands it over to Rubis. Rubis looks up the center of the ice, finds Fugner. Fugner goes around his defenseman, throws it through the crease. Nobody there. Peterson tries to keep it in. He does. Barely hops out. Bauer comes back in. Shot. Saved by the goalie who dives on the rebound and covers it up. Good shot there. Used the defenseman as a screen. Goalie made a good save. Blues will stick with Fugner, Bauer, Harris, Rubis, and Peterson. Face off one by Indy into the corner. Bauer pins his guy. Fugner picks up the puck. Tipped away from him. Held in by Harris. Indy comes back around their net. Goes up the wing. Good job by Harris to keep it in. And it's chipped past Peterson. Rubis will circle back into his zone with the puck. He's being chased by an Indy forechecker. Chips it up to Bauer, who gets it out of the zone back to neutral ice. Indy regroups, gets it to the center, who carries into the zone to the far wing. Another shot on Stutzer, who makes a save. Chipped around by Bauer. He's breaking up the right wing. Can't control the puck, though, and it's chipped out by Indy. Harris will pick up the puck. He just tosses it to the blue line, and it's picked up by Indy Elite. They backhand it into the zone. Glove down by Kamenowski. He'll circle back. Goes up the boards to Wessel. Wessel to Boyer on the wing. He's got Schneider driving to the net. Boyer still with the puck. That's Crowley out there, not Schneider. I apologize. Over to Miniman at the point. Dumps it into the corner to Boyer. Boyer's got it tied up. He goes to Wessel. Puck gets picked off. Knocked down there by Boyer. Goes to Crowley. He finds Wessel. Wessel's cross-checked in the back. No penalty. Wessel back to the puck. Crowley's got it in the corner. Wessel takes it over. Out to the point from Komodowski. He throws it towards the net, blocked by an Indy defenseman who will carry out of his zone. Goes straight up the center of the ice. Komodowski's got it behind his net. It's thrown up the boards. Indy still has possession. There's a big hit by Boyer. Miniman pushes his guy wide, and he circles back, finds the guy in the center of the ice, goes wide of the net into the far corner. Boyer will rip it up the ice. It goes out of the zone off their defenseman. Blues will try to get a quick change here. Puck didn't go very deep. Puck shot on net right into the blue on Stutzer's chest, and he'll hold on for a faceoff. The Blues have Giorgio Spatansky, Blanchard, Brooks, and Smith on the ice. Scramble draw. It's pinned up along the boards in the corner. Giorgio battling there with Brooks. 2-on-2. Brooks with a good stick. He pushes his guy to the ice. Puck bounces out. Spatansky comes out. He's got Blanchard with him. Chips into the zone. He's into the corner. Oh, he gets drilled into the boards. And we're going to get a penalty on that one. See if it's 2 and a 10 or not. Looks like it is a 2 and a 10. Checking from behind. So the Blues will go on a penalty, on a power play here. They have Giorgio Spatansky, Bauer, Brooks, and Malachi Smith on the ice. Waiting to see if they send somebody over. All right, here comes the extra guy to serve the minor. So it was a 2 and a 10, although the minors are only a minute and a half. So Blues will be on the power play here. Face off won by Indy Elite. They throw it up the boards to the point to Malachi Smith. Over to Brooks, back to Smith. Comes down to Bauer. Bauer goes up to Malachi. Over to Brooks. Smith with a shot. Rebound bounces out to Bauer. Good save by the Indy goalie there. It's over to Giorgio. Giorgio goes to the point. Nobody there. Brooks will retreat into his own zone to grab the puck. He gives it to Malachi Smith, who will carry it up the ice. He looks to Brooks. Carries to the blue line and dumps it into the corner. Bauer in after it. He's got 2 Indy guys with him. Spatansky to help out. All 3 forwards are down along the boards. Comes up. Good hold by Brooks. He's got it held out by the point. And the play is blown dead. .36 seconds left in the power play. Blues send out Bugner, Wessel, Harris, Rubis, and Peterson. Face off will be to the left of the Indy goalie. 6:02 remaining in the game. Indy's coach is unhappy about something. All right, here we go. Bugner at the face-off dot. Scramble draw. Wessel goes out to the point to Rubis. His shot on net is caught by the goalie. And we'll have another face-off to the left. Looks like Harris was in early, so Fugner's going to get kicked off. Harris to take the face off now. Won by Indy Elite. Flung around the boards, held in by Peterson. He dances around his guy. Goes up top to Hutch. Hutch tries to shoot it. Blocked. Out to the point to Harris. Harris goes cross ice to Peterson. Peterson goes through the crease. Back to Harris. Up top to Hutch. Hutch goes back over to Harris. Back to Hutch. Trickles through. The goalie pushes it wide. Wessel with good back check. Hutch has got it along the boards. He, Harris, and Wessel. Wessel tries to throw it deep. Gets blocked. Harris has the puck. He goes out to Peterson. Peterson throws it on net. It hops out and through Harris's legs. Up top to Rubis. Rubis throws it. Tries to get it through, but it gets blocked. Wessel has possession. Fugner will take over in the corner. He still has the puck. He gets checked off the puck. Wessel takes it up. Out to Rubis. Rubis over to Peterson. Peterson tries to get it through, blocked to the corner. Wessel will pick it up in the corner. Wessel still carrying. Wessel tries to find a cutting Rubis. He throws it on net, and it's saved by the goalie. Power play is over. 4:40 left on the clock. Face off to the goalie's left again. Blues send out Crowley, Zilm, Foul, Boyer, Miniman, and Komodowski. Indy wins the face-off. They go behind their own net, but it's picked off by Boyer or by Zilm. Crowley puts it just wide. I think the goalie may have made a save there. Goes to the point for Miniman. Zilm ties up his guy. Puck goes behind the net. It's thrown up the boards by Indy. Kept in by Boyer. Boyer throws it behind the net. Zilm gives chase. Indy C gets it. Outlet pass partially blocked by Crowley. Kept in by the Blues. Thrown on net and caught by the goalie. Indy will change forward lines. Blues have the same personnel. Face off won by the Blues. Zilm goes back to the point. Comes on net. Big rebound out front. Squirts past Zilm. Picked up by Crowley. Crowley blocks an exit pass. And Indy's going to try to carry out. They will try to backhand it out. Kept in by Miniman. Thrown into the corner to Zilm. Zilm goes back to Miniman, who's wide open at the point. He shoots for the far post, and it goes wide. And Indy just throws it down the ice off their bench. We should have another face-off inside the zone. Blues send out Giorgio, Spatansky, Blanchard, Smith, and Brooks. Giorgio wins the faceoff clean back to Brooks. His shot is tipped in the net. And that went off an Indy player, so that's going to be minus Brooks' goal. Clean faceoff win for Giorgio, and it tips in. The Blues take a 2-1 lead with 3:38 left. Blues keep the same five on the ice. Now we'll try to hold on to a 2-1 lead. Scramble draw, still in the dot. Spatansky gives chase on the forecheck. Indy tries to break out. They give the puck over to Brooks. Brooks goes up the wing to Blanchard. Skips over his stick. He keeps it in the zone. Puck picked off by Spatansky. He's got it. He goes to Blanchard, who tries to chip it up over the shoulder, and the goalie makes a good save. And now Indy breaks out up the left wing. Malachi Smith with a good hip check there to separate the man from the puck. Spatansky has the puck. He goes up the far boards. Giorgio, Spatansky with a block shot from the point. Brooks is tied up with Giorgio. They try to get the puck out of the zone. Now Jackson will carry. He comes up to Blanchard, who carries over center ice into the zone. He drops it to Malachi. Malachi throws it to the net. It's tipped on, and the goalie makes a good save. Have another face-off to his left. 2:39 left. Blues send out Bugner, Bauer, Harris with Rubis and Peterson. Indy wins the draw. It goes into the corner. Forward check by Bauer and Harris. Harris cuts it off in the corner. Indy throws it across the ice, and they'll break out of the zone into the blue zone along the boards. Thrown towards the net. It goes behind the net. Peterson comes up the wing. Good tip pass by Harris. He finds Fugner. Harris now controls the puck into the offensive zone. Gets it taken away. It's tied up underneath an Indy player. Still along the boards. Indy grabs it, chips it. Peterson with a good recovery. He tries to go to Harris. Doesn't quite make it to him, and Indy chips it into the blue zone. Hutch has the puck, gets it taken away from him. Tries a spinning backhand that goes wide, and the Blues get the puck out of the zone. Good forecheck, good stick there by Brandon Bauer. Goalie comes out to play the puck, goes up the wing, and it skips over his winger stick. Bauer with a good job to get it up the ice. Here comes Crowley. Crowley's got the puck. He gets it to Boyer. Boyer around the net. Boyer still carrying. He goes far point to Komodowski. Komodowski tries to dance around the guy. It gets taken away from him. Goes up the ice. And that'll be an icing. And it looks like the Blues may have taken another penalty here. Bauer's going to get a roughing minor. So we'll now spend the rest of regulation on the penalty kill. Trying to hold a 2-1 lead. Looks like Indy is going to call their timeout. Face-off will be outside the blue zone, as it was going to be an icing on Indy Elite, but the penalty brings the face-off outside our zone. Blues have Spatansky and Wessel at forward with Komodowski and Miniman. Face-off one. Wessel goes back to Miniman. He throws it up. Wessel gets it deep, goes into the corner. Blues are content to let the clock run down. Indy pulls up behind their net. Wessel tries to cut off the winger. He gets around the loop, comes in on Como, circles back. Indy has pulled their goalie. It's now a 6-on-4. Shot on, saved by Stutzer. Miniman hammers it around the boards, kept in at the point. Wessel pressuring the puck, gets back to the D, blocked by Spatansky. Huge block right there. Miniman will fire it down the ice, and that'll go for an icing. 35.5 seconds left. 6-on-4 power play, no goalie for Indy. Blues send out Smith and Brooks on defense, still with Wessel and Spatansky at forward. Puck one, face off one, go point, down to the corner. Brooks with good positioning there. They go back down out to the half boards to the far point on net, and it sneaks through stuff to a tie game. .4 seconds, 2-2 game. Blues will send out Giorgio, Bauer, Spatansky, Rubis, and Peterson for the last 20 seconds. Scramble draw. Bauer tries to go forward with it. It's taken by Indy. They shoot it deep into the blue zone. Peterson onto the puck in the corner. He goes to Rubis. 9 seconds left. Rubis tries to go right up the ice. It goes off Giorgio. Bauer and Spatansky go to chase. Spatansky's got it tied up along the boards, and that's the end of regulation. Not sure if we will play overtime or if that's it. Looks like we're not lining up, so hopefully that means overtime. All right, looks like we will play a 5-minute 3-on-3 overtime. The Blues are going to start with Giorgio, Spatansky, and Rubis. Giorgio wins the face off to the wing. It's picked up by Rubis. He will carry back into the zone, gives to Spatansky. Spatansky curls back. He drops to Giorgio. Giorgio will circle back. Blues maintaining possession here in 3-on-3. Rubis back behind his own net. He'll come out. Blues scatter up to Giorgio on the wing. He's around his guy towards the net. Shot, goal! Jackson Giorgio wins it. He beats the goalie 5-hole. Blues win 3-2, 34 seconds into overtime.